My dream came true. I officially own a laser cutting machine. Thank you so much xTool for sending me all these goodies to try out. The D1 Pro 20-watt machine, air assist, the infrared module, rotary attachment, honeycomb panel, and in addition the xTool Enclosure. I am so grateful and I was so excited to give them a go. I will list all the products I used in this project in the description box below. By the way, xTool is currently running a spring sale, which will finish 20th of April PT time, where you can get the machine and accessories at a nice juicy discount. And that link will be also left below. Now let me show you what a beauty it is and what you can do with it. To be honest, I was going to get my husband to assemble everything, but then I thought, how difficult can it be? Turns out it's pretty easy. I simply followed a step-by-step YouTube tutorial and I assembled the whole machine all by myself. There was just one bit which I struggled with, and that was the air assist attachment. I was sure something was broken or ill-fitting, since it just wouldn't screw on. But all I had to do was to turn the laser head a bit and get a straight angle. And I did that by unscrewing this little screw, pulled the laser head down a bit, turned it slightly, screwed on my air assist, then screwed the little screw back on. But it took me about a day to work out, and so in the meanwhile I decided to attach the infrared module on, just to test the machine out. So this was the first attempt with the original blue laser head that came with the machine, and I only engraved and cut one earring from this plywood heart. The earring was okay, a bit on the burnt side, and even with air assist there was a lot of smoke while the machine was cutting wood. So I reached out to xTool and asked them if there was any solution to this, and they kindly sent me the xTool Enclosure to test out. So here is how that went. It was so easy to assemble. Apart from 4 screws, everything is Velcro and the lid is magnetic. There are holes for the air assist tube and of course a hole for all the needed cables. The best bit, it fits perfectly and keeps, I would say, 98% of the smoke out, in the enclosure and then out of the window. The fan is okay but not very powerful. I am thinking of replacing it with something more powerful, but it still gets the job done. I also made a temporary solution for keeping the smoke out of the house, which included a bit of DIYing, and no, it doesn't look very professional, but it worked nicely. I've downloaded some test files of Etsy, did some testing, and after all this assembly, preparation and a bit of learning, let's finally make some jewelry. I'd like to show you exactly what I did to make them, just to share the whole experience. So first I selected the parts that needed cutting. So I would click on each of them, select user identified material, cut, and then each part was set to 100% power and speed 6. Then I selected the middle part that needed engraving, pressed engrave and set it to 80% power and 100 speed. I am still going to play with the engraving settings in the future, since it wasn't exactly what I envisioned. Perhaps it was the type of material, but it worked okay for now. Next, I selected each earring, changed the size, moved them closer to each other, selected them both and pressed process. I just left the origin in the top left corner. Then I went to my machine, pressed the start button, which started the framing process. You can move your laser module if you need to and just press the start button again until you are happy with the framing. Press start, put on your special glasses and finally press the start button on the machine once again. And enjoy the beautiful sound of this machine, air assist and the enclosure going all at once. With an oddly satisfying view of the laser engraving and cutting wood like butter. And here is to show you how much smoke there was when the machine was just engraving and now cutting the two earrings. And this is the result. I think they came out beautifully. The next pair of earrings had the same settings as the first one, but I had to do a few extra bits and bobs in the program. I don't know if there is a way of selecting different parts at once, but it seemed like I couldn't do that. It was either all of it or each part separately. When I held Command C and tried to select multiple layers, nothing happened. And because this file had a lot of details that were separate, I had to click on every single one of them and select and change the settings. Since I had to do that, I just did one earring and then selected it, copy, paste, flip, and carried on with changing the size. I actually copy-pasted the two earrings as well to make 4 altogether. I have purchased and downloaded all these files from different Etsy shops. I will link them below this video, and I was using untreated 2mm plywood I got from Amazon, link below. Also, I always used my glasses to protect my eyes and never ever left the machine while it was working. Again, I was pleased with how these turned out. The air assist definitely helps when it comes to cutting wood. The front and the back remained nice and clean, not burned. Even the little holes and the bird came out great, and I ended up making the little birdie into a stud earring. And I decided to make even more of these, but this time I removed some of the details, moved the bird into the center and went just for cutting. Here I'm cutting these cool earrings, but some of them didn't make it, I'm sorry to say. The 2mm wood was too thin for them, I should have used 3mm. Or perhaps the settings were a bit too harsh for them. This is all the smoke that was coming out of the enclosure while the machine was cutting. Imagine having all of this at home or your workshop. I mean, I would never be able to cut wood with this machine if I didn't have the enclosure. And it's supposed to be fireproof or fire resistant too, which is a bonus. This earring didn't come off as there was an element missing in the file, or maybe it just corrupted and I didn't notice on the screen. And this is what I meant, some of the earrings burned, but a lot of them survived. And then I made another pair which I designed. I just purchased different elements of Etsy in SVG files. But the engraving is not great, not sure what was going on, but the details is not it. Perhaps it's too small. When I finished, I simply wiped the aluminium sheet with a wet wipe and then a dry one, which you can't see, and left the honeycomb panel and the enclosure outside for a bit to get rid of the smoky smell. And here are all of them together. I'm really pleased with how they came out. The engraving and cut was precise, clean and overall great. The engraving takes a lot longer than cutting, and the bigger the project, the longer it will take. But I thought this machine was pretty fast and really easy to use. It's definitely not a toy, so I will be extremely careful when using it, especially when I'm using it in our family home. But I'm genuinely impressed with the D1 Pro 20 watt and all the accessories I used today. They worked perfectly together, and I can't wait to try the infrared module and do some metal engraving on my jewelry. So excited! Cheers to that! In my next video, I will paint these with various paints, varnish with different varnishes, and finish them into all kinds of jewelry. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see that. Have a wonderful day and see you next week. Bye!